Hello everyone, this is Vinny from High Tech Legion. Today we're going to be unboxing and looking at the Mid-Tower case from Diablotek. It's an ATX Mid-Tower. Comes in a standard corrugated box. Nothing fancy going on here, no full color process, no white backgrounds. Just two colors, black and the Diablotek corporate color green. Moving to the side, we have all the key features. Starting at the top, it's an aluminum magnesium material. Basically, it's aircraft aluminum, which is very strong and lightweight. We have the service style bottom mounted power supply. It's compatible with micro ATX and ATX motherboards. Comes with four internal 5.25 drive bays up front, one external 3.5 drive bay up front as well. This can be used for a card reader, or if you so choose, you could probably put another hard drive in that spot. We have three internal 3.5 drive bays, drive bay cage, and we have 7 expansion slots at the back, which is nice. Quite a few for video cards. And on the front panel ports, we have 2 USB 2.0 ports. We have our audio in and out, high definition audio. Pre-installed at the back, we have one back 120 millimeter fan, exhaust, and the option of adding another 120 millimeter intake to the front. Our case dimensions, width, height, and depth are 7.48, 18.5 by 16.53. The case weight comes in at just 7.7 pounds, extremely lightweight. On the back side is identical to the front. Nothing going on there spectacular as well. And here on the left side we have a black and white photo of what the case actually looks like. Not bad looking case. One thing I'd like to say is these are very inexpensive to produce, this type of corrugated box, just 2 colors, and it saves the manufacturer money. Hopefully they apply some of those cost savings to what's inside. So let's move on to the inside for a closer look and see if some of those cost savings were actually passed on to the consumer where it really matters, on the case instead. Starting with the front bezel, we have a really nice dark gray brushed aluminum anodized finish. Very exquisite looking, done very well. At the top we have the 4 ODD or optical drive bays. These are done in a mesh finish, and right below that we have our 3.5 drive bay, which would accommodate, like I spoke of earlier, a card reader or possibly another hard drive. And right below that we have a 2.0, USB 2.0, 2 of them. And in the center of those 2 we have a mic and headphone jack connections. And off to the right of that we have a reset button, your power LEDs alongside, and naturally the power button. Below that is your spot for your 120 millimeter intake, right? And this is also done in the mesh finish. Both the top and bottom of the front bezel have pre-installed filters, which we'll take a look at once we remove the bezel. Before we move in for some closer shots behind the front bezel and also on the inside of the case, let me spin this thing around a couple of times and show you what the rest of the chassis looks like. Okay. On the both on the left and right side, we have that same nice brushed anodized aluminum finish. There are no windows or spots to mount fans on either the left or right side door. Right? And moving to the back. To the back, what we have are two grommeted 3/4 inch holes for cable management, or if you so choose to add a water cooling system, you can run your water cooling hoses through here. And off to the left of that is your spot for your I/O port cover for the motherboard. And below that we have our 7 expansion slots. All this is done in that nice anodized finish that you saw on the left, right, and front. Right, these are all vented too. Very nice. And we have a nice vented area just below our 120mm exhaust fan. And then down below, like we spoke of earlier, we have the spot for our bottom mounted power supply. Okay, now let's take a look at what's behind the bezel. The bottom of the chassis is done in just straight aluminum, nicely polished. We have your 4 case feet, which are made of plastic, and they only lift the case off the floor by maybe 1/4 inch. Not very much. So I would be cognizant of that if you're thinking about putting this on a rug and not on a hard surface, because it would inhibit airflow coming into your bottom mounted power supply if you so choose to put it on a rug. The mesh screen at the bottom has 4 screws holding it in place that can be easily removed, but there's no filter back there that I can see, so a filter would have to be installed by you. Go out and buy some filter material, and that can easily be done. Okay. Gripping the bottom of the front bezel with a simple tug comes off. Pretty simple. Taking a look at the inside, we'll see it has pre-installed dust filters for the 4 5.25 optical drive bays. It has a pre-installed dust filter for the 3.5 drive bay as well, and it has a pre-installed filter for the bottom 120mm fan that will go right here, which this is something that's been left out and would have to be installed by you. One thing I did notice also, popping out these dry bay covers, right? These filters come with it, and they're actually fastened. They're fastened to the cover by the mesh plate. So you cannot remove the filter without bending these tabs up. So the filter has to be cleaned in place, and then the mesh plate put back in. They go in fairly easy. Pop in on both sides. No problem there. And bottom one too. This filter is basically not removable unless you want to take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 screws that hold these brackets on this aluminum plate that surrounds the filter. That'd be the only way to take it out. Okay, so that could be a pain. I guess blowing it out will have to suffice. Here we have the 4 ODD bays, which you just slide your drives in, right? And like I spoke of earlier, this is your spot for your bottom mounted 120mm intake. Let's move on to the inside. Okay, moving on to the inside, both the left and right side doors are secured by thumb screws. Right, with a couple of simple turns, they come right out. I like that feature better than regular screws, makes it easy. Both doors have a little handle embedded in them to make removal simple, just a little tug and lift, and they're out. Okay, let's see what we have here. Aha, little goodie bag right here with parts. Let's see what's in the bag. Looks like we have some cable ties, zip ties here, 4 of them to be exact. Nice, always nice to have when you're trying to tidy things up on the back side. We have some hard drive rails here, 3 sets to be exact, toolless, motherboard speaker, and we have some rubber grommets that are used for the toolless rails for your hard drives. What they are vibration dampeners. They press right in on each side, and these just pop on. Just push them onto the sides of your hard drive, and I'll show you that later during the install. We also have a bag of screws. Include your motherboard standoffs, all the necessary screws for your hard drive and ODD drives. You have 4 fan screws to screw in the front 120mm fan, and we have 4 screws for the bottom mounted power supply. Going on to the inside, excuse my back. Take a look at these cables. We have your standard USB, your high definition, and AC97 audio. Then we have a nice ribbon cable here with your reset switch, power switch, hard drive LED, and power LED connections. Notice here that we have 2 toolless spots for installation of your ODD drives. Just pull on them, let them go, and they latch in on the sides. Hard drive cage with your 3 spots for your hard drives. One thing I am noticing right here, let's get this out of the way, is there are, let's see, 4 screws at the bottom and 2 screws at the back, which will enable you to remove this hard drive cage which hopefully will make room for your real long video cards if need be, or extra long video cards. There's some really nice cable management holes on the motherboard tray, and pretty large cutout for an aftermarket cooler. And let's see, mini ATX, or micro ATX rather. You've got some slots up here to accommodate the smaller motherboards as well. I like that. Very nice. And probably sneak a couple of cables behind the motherboard and the tray, using those as well. We've got two up here at the top and the one large one at the bottom for your power supply cables. And got about a ½ inch of room between the door and the back of the motherboard tray for storing cables. We'll see how that goes during the install. The power supply area has two aluminum brackets that actually raise the power supply off the chassis floor by about 1/4 inch. There are no rubber isolation grommets in this area to help with vibration, but at least they thought about lifting the power supply off the bottom to get a little bit better airflow. I would have liked to have seen some filters installed here. I mean, these brackets could have easily housed a filter, but they neglected to put it. Moving in towards the back of the case, we see our 120mm exhaust installed here at the back. It has a 4-pin Molex connection, as well as a 3-pin motherboard connection for fan speed. Alright, moving down a little bit, we have our 7 expansion slots, all nicely done and held in with chrome plated screws. I actually like the screw features personally, especially there for when you're using heavy video cards. I like a good secure hold, so I kind of try to stay away from toolless when it comes to that side of the case. I like it much better. Moving in for a close look at the hard drive cage, there's something I need to point out here that to me is really important, and that is this is totally removable. You've got 4 screws holding it in at the bottom, and you have 2 screws at the back holding it to the motherboard tray. Remove those 4 screws, remove the two at the back, and the hard drive cage is totally removable from the case. This gives you an option of putting in the largest video card you can find, and I'll demonstrate that later on during the install. I like that. To me, this kind of case is like a modder's dream. There's a lot of things you can do to this to make it fit your needs, suit your needs, and one of them is that you can take out this hard drive cage, and there is an area here at the top below the 4 ODD drives that'll house a hard drive as well, and that's basically what I'll be doing. I'll be mounting my hard drive in up here, taking this out and putting in my very large video card. There also are some perforated holes in the shape of a star down here that offer some ventilation off the bottom of the case. And I notice there's 2 holes right here on the left side that would accommodate another fan, and some holes at the back. So you can actually put another intake fan down there at the bottom to help with airflow. What we'll be doing next is the install. So bear with me for a minute while I gather up some stuff, and we'll start our install.